Welcome back, everybody. I'm happy to see you. Young, reading SHILO. You're rocking with me. What up, everybody? Shalom, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rise and shine, baby. Rise and shine. It's time to get up and at 'em. Time to get up and at 'em. Man, we got a lot to do. You got breath to breathe in your body, and you got everything that you need to go through. We're back at this is episode part 21 of the Black Jacobins. The 27th book to be assassinated, the 27th book on the list. And actually, I finished 2 other books with my son, so I should mark them 20. This will be 29 in that thing. 29 in that thing. But I still haven't made up my mind yet if I'm gonna mark these books off or not. But man, welcome, everybody, man. We're in chapter 13. We are in chapter 13, the War for Independence, which is about to be a long chapter. Yeah, all we have left in the book is chapter 13 and the appendix. That's all we have left in the book to read. But chapter 13 is a very lengthy one. Very lengthy chapter. But we got shit to do, man. We got to get to rolling. We got to get to it and do it. That's what we got to do. Get to it and do it. Oh, man. I don't know about y'all, man. I had been feeling very for a minute. But, hey, I'm trying to build it back up. Hey, come on, energy. Don't be drained. Either that or somebody trying to drain my energy. They trying to pull it, siphon it from me. Shit. But, something be waking me up at like 3 in the morning. I don't know if it's telling me get up and read. I don't be listening all the time. I be bullshitting. But we here to read. We here to keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward with the book so we can reach the destination, man. We are rolling through the sea of pages as Mr. C.L.R. James has laid before us and see what treasures we can find, man. What has been dropped off? What has been hid in the depths of the sea of pages? What lies can we expose and what truths can we find? What treasures can we take and hide in our minds? What can we use to help us throughout our day? What can we use to make changes in our life? Those are the things that I'm looking for. But hey, we're gonna keep pushing forward. Either way go. Either way it go, the book has to be assassinated. One way or the other, it has to be assassinated. So I got to do my part in the revolution and read. I got to do my part in the revolution and read. Even if it's just revolution in my mind. I got to do my part. So, hey, man, we're going to see what it is and what it ain't, and what we can and what we can't. You know, shalom, everybody. Welcome to Reading with SHALO, or this episode of Reading with SHALO. We're getting into chapter 13 tonight, or today. Chapter 13 today. When you come on in, man, say something in the chat. Let me know the chat working. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your people. Shout out here, reading shit, building shit, doing shit. We learning shit. It's about to be about some better shit, baby. That is the objective. Be better. Be better than you were before. And as long as you have breath to breathe, then you have all you need to succeed. So let's continue to succeed. One step at a time, one thing at a time. Just a little bit at a time, man. Let's find it. Let's find it. Let's get it. Where is that? But before we get to working, before we get to reading, though, before we get to working our mind, we got to work our body. We're going to work our body, work our mind, and work our body. That is the routine that I'm building, man. I don't know how many days straight I've been going at this, but how many episodes straight I've been going at it. But we done worked our way up to From 25 things to 50 things to 100 things. Shit, 150 things, really. But I ask of you, all I ask of you to do is 25, man. I don't want shit. Y'all got to do something. We got to do something, man. We got to get off our asses and do something. I'll be feeling like I need to do something for sure. So I get up and do something with y'all. I do something with y'all and I do something extra after I leave y'all. Sometimes I do shit before y'all. But we're going to do, hey, Shalom, have a good day. What up? What up, man? I'm trying to have a good day and read about the Black Jacobins. See what Mr. C.L.R. James has to say about Toussaint Louverture. Hey, for sure. For sure, Demi. For sure. So before we get into the book, hey, let's work out, man. Let's work out a little bit, man. Get off your ass. Let's work out a little bit. 100 push-ups. 100 jumping jacks is what I'm going to do. 100 jumping jacks and probably 50 push-ups. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, well. Bury that cat. I'm going to do my 100 jumping jacks. Do something. You do something. You get off your butt and do something. Get out your bed. Do something. Get out your bed and do something. For real, man. You got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. And even though it may be hard, even though it may be tiresome, boredom may step in, you have to do something. If you don't do nothing, no changes will be made. No changes will be made. I'm trying to make a change. I'm trying to make a change for me. And if not for me, for my sons that come after me, so they can at least have a better example. A better example than what I had. Or a better example of me. What else have I have? So let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. Let's get this workout out of the way so we can read, man. We got a lot to go. A long way to go. Chapter 13 is definitely going to be a couple of days sessions. It's going to be a couple of sessions for sure. More than a couple. We damn near got 100 pages almost in chapter 13 to go. Chapter 13 happens to be the longest chapter of the book. Man. The longest chapter of this book. Which is about all that. That's all chapter 13. So we got to push. We got to push through, man. We got to push through. We got to push through. So let's get our jumping jacks going, man. Let's get the jumping jacks out of here and ready. Make sure my shit don't fall off. Oh, man. I really don't feel it this morning, but hey, you gotta do it, man. Otherwise, we're gonna be fat. We can't eat rice and gravy all the time and think we're gonna just stay slim and trim and don't do nothing. She gotta do something, man. Let's do it, man. 100 jumping jacks. Let's go, man. Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. I had to stop pulling my pants. 60. If you don't start somewhere, man, you'll never do nothing, man. 60, 61, 2, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Come on, get up. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. I should have tightened them things up before we started doing jumping jacks. 100 though. That's 100. 100 of them bad boys. Let's get this 50 out the way. And then we can read. 50 out the way and then we can read. Hey man, try to look at it the best way you can. With me, that's at least 300 things that I would have done at the end of the episode. 300 things, man. And something is better than nothing. Something is better than nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Now it's time to read. Oh, man. Something is better than nothing. Something is better than nothing. And you gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere, man. You gotta start somewhere. Yeah, let me go ahead and do a couple more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. Ooh, I felt it. I felt it in my shoulders. I felt it in my chest. Well, I wanted to feel it for sure. That's what I want to feel it. My chest, my stomach. I need to lose some gut. Oh, man. Hey, if you at least do something with me, if you're watching this, if you at least do something with me while you're watching this, then hey, you have done something. Sometimes these are the best times to work out. Sometimes these are the best times to do something. Hey, by this time, the children should still be asleep. Hey, nobody to bother you. You got nothing but space and opportunity. Yeah, it's going to cost you a little sweat, a little breath, but something's better than nothing. Get your body moving. Work at the small, succeed at the small, and then you work your way up and succeed at big. Before you know it, man, you'll be doing 1,000 things a day. Some people be trying to walk all these steps a day. You know, hey, you'll have done something. You will have done something. And something is a little bit more than what you did yesterday. It's a progression towards the right direction. Anyway, let's get to reading now. We done worked our body. Let's work our mind now. With Mr. C.L.R. James's book, The Black Jacobins, the Toussaint Louverture and the San Domingo Revolution. This is part 21, episode 21, chapter 13. If there's any words, if this is your first time in the live, welcome. If there's any words that I don't know, can't pronounce, or have trouble with in my mind, then I'm going to stop and I'm going to look it up. Write it down, look it up. If I feel it's important, I'll write it down. To try to help expand the vocabulary. Try to help expand the vocabulary and expand the knowledge of things as being said and written about so we can understand better. Chapter 13, the War of Independence, man. We're going to read for the rest of the hour. We'll get about an hour to 45 minutes in to read. Man, it may be about 6, 7 pages, maybe even 8. We'll see. Let's seek and find. Let's seek and find. The War of Independence. The defeat of Toussaint in the War of Independence and his imprisonment and death in Europe are universally looked upon as a tragedy. They contain authentic elements of the tragic and in that even at the height of the war, Toussaint strove to maintain the French connection as necessary to Haiti in its long and difficult climb to civilization. Convinced that slavery could never be restored in San Domingo, he was equally convinced that a population of slaves recently landed from Africa could not attain to civilization by going it alone. His tergiversation, let's see what that word is, his inability to take firm and realistic decisions, which distinguish his career and has become the complete expression of his personality. As we watch his blunders, excuse me, my eyes is blurred right now. I don't know what just happened. My eyes went blur. As we watch his blunders and the inevitable catastrophe, we have always to remember that here is no conflict of the insoluble dilemmas of the human condition, no division of the personality, which can find itself only in its strivings for the unattainable. Let's see what that word was. Tergiversations. Derivations, no. Tergive. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Oh man, well, you can just pronounce it like I want you to pronounce it.
Tergiversation.
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 Tergiversation refers to evading a clear course of action or speech and being deliberately ambiguous or equivocating. It also means deserting a cause, a position, a party, or faith. Tergiversations, the evasion of straightforward action or clear-cut statements. Tergiversations, his evasion of clear-cut speech or clear course of action, his inability to take firm and realistic decisions, which so distinguished his career and had become the complete expression of his personality, his tergiversations. Yes, sir. That'll work. Tergiversations. Let me write it down. I've never heard of that word. Tergiversations. What you up here with them tergiversations? Tergiversations. You got them. You out here with your tergiversations. Be straight up. Tergiversations. 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 You and your tergiversations. Women have plenty of tergiversations. Toussaint was a whole man, the man into which the French Revolution had made him demanded that the relation with the French of liberty, equality, fraternity, and the abolition of slavery without a debate should be maintained. And what revolutionary France signified was perpetually on his lips and in the public statements and in his correspondence, in the spontaneous intimacy of private conversation. It was the highest stage of social existence that he could imagine, and it was not only the framework of his mind. No one else was so conscious of its practical necessity and the social backwardness and primitive conditions of the life around him. Being the man he was by nature and by a range and intensity of new experiences such as is given to few, that is the way he saw the world and in which he lived. His unrealistic attitude to the former masters at home and abroad sprang not from any abstract humanitarianism or loyalty, but from a recognition that they alone had what San Domingo society needed. He believed that he could handle them, and it is not improbable that he could have done it, and he was in a situation strictly comparable to that of the greatest of all American statesmen, Abraham Lincoln, in 1865. If the thing could be done at all, he alone could do it. And Lincoln was not allowed to try. Toussaint fought desperately for the right to try. If he was convinced that San Domingo would decay with the benefits of the French connection, he was equally certain that slavery could never be restored. And between these two certainties, he penetrating vision and prompt decision had become second nature, became the embodiment of vacillation. His allegiance to the French Revolution and all an open doubt for mankind in general and the people of San Domingo in particular, this had made him what he was, but this in the end ruined him. And perhaps for him to have expected more than the bare freedom was too much for the time. And with the alone, Dessalines was satisfied. And with that alone, Dessalines was satisfied. And perhaps the proof that freedom alone was possible lies in the fact that to ensure it, Dessalines, that faithful adjutant, had to see that Toussaint was removed from the scene, and Toussaint was attempting the impossible that was for him the only reality that mattered. And the realities to which the historian is condemned will at times signify the tragic alternatives with which he was faced. But these factual statements and the judgments they demand must not be allowed to obscure or minimize the truly tragic character of his dilemma, and one of the most remarkable of which there is an authentic historical record. But in a deep sense of life and death are not truly tragic. Prometheus, Hamlet, Lear, Phaedrus, Ahab, assert what may be the permanent impulses of the human condition against the claims of organized society. And they do this in the face of imminent or even certain destruction. And their defiance propels them to heights which make of their defeat a sacrifice which adds to our conceptions of human grandeur. Now, Toussaint is in a lesser category. His splendid powers did not rise but decline. And where formerly he was distinguished above all for his prompt and fearless estimate of whatever faced him, we shall see him. We have already seen him misjudged events and people, vacillating in principle and losing both the fear of his enemies and the confidence of his own supporters. Now, the hamartia, the tragic flow, the tragic flow, which we have constructed from Aristotle, was in Toussaint not a moral weakness. Hamartia, not Parmatia, Hamartia. Hamartia, I guess is a martyr. Harmatia. Hamartia. Hamartia, a fatal flaw leading to the downfall of the tragic hero or heroine. Hamartia. Hamartia. The hamartia, the tragic flaw, Hamartia. Hamartia. The hamartia, the tragic flaw, which we have constructed from Aristotle, was in Toussaint not a moral weakness. It was a specific error, a total miscalculation of the constituent events. And yet, was it lost by the imaginative freedom and creative logic of the great dramatics? Is to some degree atoned for by the historical actuality of his dilemma? It would therefore be a mistake to see him merely as a political figure in a remote West Indian island. If his story does not approach the greater dramatic creations in its social significance and human appeal, it far exceeds the last days at St. Helena, and that apotheosis of accumulation and degradation, the suicide in the Wilhelmstrasse. The Greek tragedians could always go to their gods for the dramatic embodiment of faith, and the dike, which rules over the world, neither they nor we ever made. But not Shakespeare himself could have found such a dramatic embodiment of fate as Toussaint struggled against, and Bonaparte himself, nor could the furthest imagination have envisioned or envisaged envisaged the entry of the choir, of the chorus, of the ex-slaves themselves as the arbiters of their own fate. And Toussaint's certainty of this is the ultimate and irresistible resolution of the problem to which he refused to limit himself. And that explains his mistakes and atones for them. Excuse me, bear with me. I'm reading terrible. It's not flowing. Like Toussaint, Bonaparte did everything himself, and he wrote out the plan of campaign with his own hand, and he divided it into 3 periods. In the first, Leclerc was to promise Toussaint everything he asked for in order that Leclerc might establish himself in the principal point of the country. And as soon as this is done, you will then be firmer. Command him to reply without equivocation to me the proclamation and my letter. And Toussaint was to come to Le Cap and swear fidelity to the Republic. And on that very day, he and all his supporters, white and black, were to be shipped to France without being disgraced, but with honor and consideration. This was merely to avoid irritating the population unnecessarily, and no epaulette was to be left on the shoulders of a single nigger. Now Raymond, with no mass following, was to be arrested and sent to France as a criminal. And during the first period, Leclerc was to treat Mosey, Dessalines, and Toussaint well, and every attempt was to be made to win over men like Christophe, Clairvaux, and Maurepas, who were favorable to the whites. In other words, men who had carried out Toussaint's policy and treated them with fairness and consideration. This was the first period, to last about 15 to 20 days. Oh, that was wrong. But Bonaparte had his doubts about Toussaint, Mosey, and Dessalines, and if they did not come to swear fealty and be politely but firmly deported, they were to be declared traitors, hunted down by a war to the death, and, if captured, shot within 24 hours. This would end the second period, and on the same day, at all points, all doubtful persons, whatever their color, were to be arrested, and all the black generals, whatever their status, deported. And the last stage was the disarming of the population. The National Guard and the gendarmerie were to be reorganized and in other words, made all white, and San Domingo would then be ready for the special laws. What special laws are these? Gendarmerie. 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 Not Indian Armory. Gendarmerie. Gendarmerie. The Gendarmerie is a French police force that is part of the armed forces and is responsible for law enforcement among civilians.
Gendarmerie.
Gendarmerie. I was off. The Gendarmerie. The National Guard and Gendarmerie. I should have known because it's French. Gendarmerie. I wonder how, within the English language, how do you know when to pronounce the G as a J? Gendarmerie. Is it because of the word is derived from, I wonder? But how are we supposed to know these things? The Gendarmerie. No, I don't think I know. Gendarmerie.
Gendarmerie.
Gendarmerie. First thing was to break the military power of the blacks, and no black above the rank of captain was to be left in the island. And the second thing was prestige. Bonaparte knew that the imperialist importance of the proper respect for white women among natives. And the ancients never thought a conquest completed until the victor had slept with the wife or daughter of the conquered monarch. Ooh. It is difficult to inculcate the proper sentiment of inferiority in a man who sleeps with your sister. And Bonaparte ordered that all white men who had prostituted themselves to Negroes were to be sent to Europe, and whatever their rank. And Leclerc was not to tolerate from anyone any talk about the rights of those blacks who had shed so much white blood. And whatever his rank or services, he was to be shipped to France. Now, the special laws were not specified, but the mulattoes, too, were to be suitably dealt with, and Regard, Pichon, Villette, and other officers, having no fears for their own rights and thinking to supplant Toussaint and his generals, had obtained permission to come with the expedition. Now, Bonaparte had them all put on one ship, the Vertu. And if Toussaint welcomed the expedition, they were not even to be allowed to land, but were to be deported at once to Madagascar. And if there was fighting to be done, however, then they would be allowed to shed their share of blood. And Bonaparte, in these instructions, repudiated the idea of restoring slavery. He was lying, but he was still posing as the heir of the revolution, and he dared not commit this reactionary policy to black and white lest it fall into the hands of Leclerc's successor, and if Leclerc needed one, and for fear of the effect on the army. Even when he had gave Leclerc authority to restore slavery, Leclerc kept it from his second in command, Rochambeau. And many officers and all the soldiers believed that they were fighting for the revolution against Toussaint, a traitor sold to priests, emigres, and the British. Now, it is on colonial peoples without means of counter publicity that imperialism practices its basest arts, and what it is staggered in the documents is not its duplicity. It is the calm assumption of stupidity and trustfulness, on the part of the black generals, and Bonaparte seemed to have had fears of only three: Toussaint, Mouzet, and Dessalines, and he was trying to get them boys out the way. Bonaparte, don't be scared, Bonaparte. But the most bewildering fact in all this history and the testimony to Bonaparte's knowledge of men is that Pichon and Regard knew that they would be deported to Madagascar if there was no resistance. And yet, so strong is the pull of authority that they were prepared to accept even this grudging recognition. And the apparently impudent assumptions of Bonaparte were really sound policy. That calm confidence in its capacity to deceive is a mark of the mature ruling class, and this accounts for its wild fury when it runs up against the type which never pays any attention to its most solemn protestations. And Bonaparte was wise in singling out Toussaint, Dessalines, and Mouzet. But for the first two, the whole plan would have succeeded. And on February, Leclerc appeared off the harbor of Le Cap with 5,000 of his 12,000 men and instructed Christophe, commanding the troops in the town, to prepare quarters for his men. Christophe, poor fool, had everything ready to receive them, and but for a quarrel between Leclerc and Valeret Joyeuse, and an adverse wind, Leclerc would have had Le Cap intact. But Toussaint, riding hard to Samana, arrived just in time to stop Christophe. And he did not show himself, but allowed Christophe to carry on negotiations, hiding in a room nearby and making Christophe speak loudly so that he could hear his refusal. Now, on his way to Christophe, Leclerc's envoy, as if by accident, let slip some proclamations by Bonaparte calling on the population to rally round Leclerc, protector of their liberties, restorer of peace, etc. And it was all that the petty bourgeois needed, and the municipality and the civil functionaries, mulattoes and free blacks, always jealous of Toussaint's illiterate black generals and their low origin, and resenting Toussaint's despotism, gave demonstrations of joy and satisfaction. Now, stupid as only the petty bourgeois functionary could be, they implored Christophe to welcome the French expedition. Now, Caesar Telemark, mayor of Le Cap, old free black, and notable able administrator, led this folly and gave the official reading of the proclamation and pestered Christophe to submit. And to add force to the protestations of himself and his friend, he brought the deputation of old men, women, and children to Christophe. Whites and all the formerly free were radiant, but the officers of the army, black and mulatto, were grimly hostile and would not speak to the French. And under the watchful eye of his chief, Christophe remained firm and replied to Leclerc's threats with counter threats. The next day, the 4th, Christophe summoned the garrison, who took the oath to be faithful to death. And they learned that Fort Liberté had been taken by the French, and it was war. And Christophe called on the inhabitants to evacuate the town. Men, women, and children started the painful journey up into the hills that began almost where the city ended. And a few inhabitants remained near Caesar Telemark at the municipality, hoping in spite of themselves for some intervention against this last and final misery, and all of their eyes fixed on the sea. At last, as evening fell, the boat detached itself from the squadron and, taking advantage of the growing darkness, moved towards the harbor. Immediately, Christophe's scouts on guard gave the dreaded signal by the discharge of cannon, and at the end of the sound, the soldiers, torches in hand, ran through the city, and soon everything was burning. And suddenly, with the terrific shock, the powder magazine exploded. Rocks loosened by the explosion came rolling down, crushing women and children hiding in the hills. And by Toussaint's orders, all in the city, whites and Telemark and his friends were compelled to follow the troops. They came unwillingly, bitterly regretting that Leclerc had not been welcomed. And Christophe and his soldiers regarded the population retired to the mountains. All night the fire raged, destroying property to the value of 100 million francs, and Leclerc's envoys had told him how flourishing the city was. But when he landed the next day, he was welcomed by cinders and ashes, and of 2,000 houses, only 59 remained. It was an indication to the bitterly disappointed Frenchmen of the days that were to come and the beginning of the devastation which threw San Domingo back half a century. Man. But even then, Toussaint still hesitated, and on his way from Le Camp to Gonneves, he met a French detachment. Stopping to parley, he was greeted with bullets and nearly lost his life. His horse was wounded, and the hat on one of his officers was carried away by a bullet, and Christophe had to throw himself from his horse to swim across a river to escape capture or death. War is a continuation of politics by other means, and Toussaint was now reaping the rewards of his policy during the previous year. The laborers, hostile to the French, did not respond to his call. They could not understand why Toussaint should call on them to fight these whites, and when all his policy had been towards conciliation of them. It was easy for Toussaint's enemies to represent him as a tyrant and consorting with the emigres and priests. Everyone could see him doing this, seeking to hand the colony over to the British for the triumph of his own ambition. And mulattoes and former free blacks were openly for the French. And San Domingo was a French colony. Which should they burn down their property for Toussaint's ambition? And why, not which, why should they burn down their property for Toussaint's ambition? Now, the army did not know where they stood, and Christophe had nearly let Leclerc in, and now wavering among the commanding officers, came to the help of Leclerc and further confused both the rank and file and masses. Now, Fort Republican, the capital, was under the command of Aguet, and Baudet, with 3,500 men, called on Aguet to surrender the town. And at the conference of the officers, the white officer in charge of the powder magazine refused to hand over the keys. Now, La Martiniere drew his pistol and shot him dead at the conference table. Pooh! I could see it's like a dice game. or poker game. Another bullet for Aguet would have saved the infinite amount of trouble. But before such a demonstration of the loyalty and the temper of others, of his subordinates, Aguet temporized. To Baudet's summons, he replied that he could do nothing except by the orders of Dessalines, his superior officer, who was at St. Mark. And what sort of resistance was this? Thus encouraged, Baudet landed his troops and marched boldly towards the town. Another officer, follower of Lagarde, delivered an important fort to the advance guard, but was some brave fighting at the last moment. But with such confusion and disloyalty in the command, the garrison could not hold the town. And trying in vain to set it on fire as they left, La Martiniere and his men retreated. And not only was the capital gone with little loss and all its supplies intact, but the French captured the treasury with 2.5 million francs. Now the next night came an offer of submission from La Plume and the Negro general commanding in the south. Officers and men, as they had been accustomed to do in the political tangles of the revolution, followed their commanders who in the most cases had built their corps themselves, and even in San Domingo, where Paul Louverture was in command, and the French had another easy success. Curvasu, hitherto in Toussaint's service, had joined Leclerc and had been put in command of the French detachment. He marched on Santo Domingo and demanded submission, and Louverture refused. And a group of French and Spanish inhabitants attempted to let the French into the city, but Paul Louverture dispersed them. And yet, even Toussaint's own brother, while refusing to admit Curvasu, wrote to the governor asking for orders. And where Toussaint's own brother was so uncertain, what could the masses do? And only then did Toussaint write commanding him to defend to the last, and even to the extent of capturing Curvasu and his troops, a miserable and telltale indication of vacillation. There we go, vacillation. Afraid that his messengers might be captured, Toussaint gave his couriers another letter, counseling Paul to conciliation. In this letter, the officers, 2 blacks and white, in case of arrest, were to present to their captors, hiding the genuine instructions, and the officers were killed, and both letters were found on them. Now Curvasu sent the false letter to Paul, who opened the gates of the gates and let Curvasu in, and Marville, the bishop of San Domingo, had long been working with Clairvaux, second in rank of Toussaint's officers, and Clairvaux in a few days would yield to Marville and surrender to the French. It was treason, but it was an easy treason after he had heard that Toussaint's own brother, his subordinate, had let Curvasu in, and apparently on Toussaint's instructions. The French welcomed Toussaint's officers and men and treated them as comrades, and the masses looked on, confused, bewildered, not knowing what to do. And fortunately for these misguided chiefs, Toussaint, Dessalines, and Maurepas paid no attention to Leclerc's proclamations. It was this that saved the traitors, for Bonaparte's instructions were explicit, and but for the resistance of the so-called enemies of France, the epaulets would have been torn from the shoulders of these stupidly trustful blacks. God, they go, stupidly trustful. And on February 10th, Maurepas, holding Port-au-Paix, the strongest position on the north coast, was attacked by 1,500 troops under de Belle and menaced by the guns of the fleet. Refusing to capitulate, he retired from the town and took up his position in the mountains. But Rochambeau took Fort Dauphin, and thus except for St. Mark under Dessalines, nearly the whole littoral was in the hands of Leclerc. I'm going to finish off this page, and we're going to stop on the next page. Toussaint, on February 8th, did not yet know the full extent of his reverses. But as the blows fell upon him, he braced himself not for surrender, but for resistance. And the dream of orderly government and progress to civilization was over, and he had held on to the last shred of hope for peace. But as he saw the enemy closing in, then and then only did he prepare to fight. Grievous had been his error, but as soon as he decided to look the destruction of San Domingo fairly in the face, he rose to the peril, and thus his last campaign was his greatest. And he outlined his plan to Dessalines. Do not forget, while waiting for the rainy season, which will rid us of our foes, that we have no other resources than destruction and fire. And bear in mind that the soil bathed with our sweat must not furnish our enemies with the smallest sustenance. Tear up the roads with shot, throw corpses and horses into the fountains, burn and annihilate everything in order that those who have come to reduce us to slavery may have before their eyes the image of that hell which they deserve. And it was too late. Events were to show that if he had but mobilized the masses before and purged his army, the French attack would have been crippled at the start. And his desire to avoid destruction was the very thing that caused it. It is the recurring error of moderates when face to face with revolutionary struggle. And we're going to stop there. Yeah, Toussaint should have did like, I believe it's Dessalines, or at least Musée, like Musée wanted, and kill all the whites. Or not kill all the whites, but remove all the pink people. Because that's what it is. Ain't none of them was white. All the pink people from off of Haiti. He should have removed the pink people and kept the copper colors. And no, one called Lewis. I'm not black. I'm copper color. My shirt is black. I do not look like that. My shirt is black. I am a copper color Jew. A copper color Israelite. A copper color Israelite. That's what I am. But yeah, we're going to stop there, man. And the Black Jacobins, the War of Independence. This has been episode 21. Episode 21. Episode 21, part 21, man. We have made it. We have succeeded. Since I had breath to breathe, I had all that I needed to succeed, and I succeeded. I succeeded in the first workout. I succeeded in the read, which I feel like we ain't got nowhere. We really didn't get nowhere. Probably like 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. 6 pages. It's about what I said, 6 or 7. Hey, but we succeeded rolling through that. We succeeded in seeing that Bonaparte, man, it was up to something. Like the scripture in Ecclesiasticus says, you can never trust your enemy. Because just like iron rusted, so shall your enemy. Your enemy is never gonna leave off from being your enemy. Never gonna leave off from being your enemy. And Bonaparte was Toussaint's enemy. French or not. Shit, even the French was Toussaint's enemy. Even the French was Toussaint's enemy, man. Never trust your enemy. So book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Never trust your enemy. He was putting too much trust in them. As a lot of us do today ourselves, we put too much trust in our enemies. We put too much trust in our enemies to tell us the truth, and we see that they have broken and will break all treaties and all promises. Hey, just because it look good now don't mean it's going to continue to stay that way. Never trust your enemy. The copper-colored people in America learned the hard way. They learned the hard way. And continue to show themselves the same thing, untrustworthy. But hey, it is what it is. History will tell. History will tell. Our stories will tell. You know, even though they fought and had tremendous battles, tremendous wins. In the end, you cannot trust your enemy. You cannot trust your enemy. Just like you need to know for what reason or who you counsel with, and what need of them that they have before you counsel with them. You need to know your enemy. You need to know your enemy. Your enemies will say anything, do anything. And just because you want to be nice, don't think that your enemy gonna be nice to you, because they will do you dirty. Hey, but that has been today's reading, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell you people, man, we out here reading shit. Shallow. Let's read. We're reading. We're gonna continue going. We're gonna continue marching on, man. We're gonna continue marching on. We have excuse me. We have 77 pages left to go. 77 pages left to go in chapter 13, which we're gonna roll through. We're gonna roll through. If we read at least 7 pages a day, that's 10 days. We got 10 days, or at least 10 episodes. 10 episodes left. 10 parts left to finish chapter 13. Man, I need to put my trash out before the trash man come. But let's go ahead and get our exercise in. We worked our body. We worked our mind for sure. Let's work our body one last time. Let's get it out the way. Let's get it done so we can check it off the list of things that we got done, things that we succeeded at. Put this away. And then right after this, I'll come back. Right after I shut the live off, I'll come right back. I'll start a new live and come right back with Rising Scripts. And we'll read a couple of chapters in Ecclesiasticus. We'll start at chapter 40. Yeah, we'll pick up in chapter 40. Chapter 40 through. I'll read 40 through 45. Through 45 in Ecclesiasticus for Rising Scripts, and then I'll go put my trash out. And we'll keep pushing. We'll keep pushing. Please leave your comments and thoughts on the reading hour for the children so we can go ahead and try to figure out a good time. Children's hour, children's corner. I don't know. We'll figure out a name. We'll figure out a name for it. Children's corner. And we'll pick up and start reading Desmond Cole, Ghost Patrol. We could put some other books together too. For the children. Which I have a lot of books, a lot of children. I don't say a lot, but I definitely have children's books. Yeah, we'll try to put something together for the children. And just read, man. Just read. Oh, shit. Just read. And hopefully that'll inspire somebody else to read and or inspire them to pick up a book. And, you know, I know that sometimes I struggle with certain words. And I hate when I read bad in my mind. But just like when you're reading out loud in class and, you know, you may mess up on words, people may laugh at you, things of that nature. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing. It's the only way you're going to get better. It's the only way you're going to get better. You got to fight through the trials. And sometimes the trials is worse in your own mind. It's worse in your own mind, what you think people will think, or what you think people will say, what you think people will do. All that shit is only worth on you. Sometimes the people who talk, they can't even do what you have done or what you are doing. So don't worry yourself as much. Don't worry yourself as much with what people say or what people think. You just keep doing your thing. Read. Let's read. Let's read. Let's learn. Let's grow. Let's burn down the propaganda, the plantations, the mindsets that we have been given, that we have been force fed, that we have been issued like it. Oh, like in the army when they issue your man, I hate going to what you call that, man. CX. Oh, not the CX. Fuck, I can't think. But I hate going to that place and waiting in them long line, waiting DX. Where is DX? I don't know. Waiting to get issued some shit. Issued a backpack. Issued some Kevlar. Issued some boots. Issued some a burqa. A gator neck. Issued these things. You know, they issued us a lot of this history. They issued us a lot of our thoughts. They issued them to you. And they issued you these things by force in some cases. And once they, didn't have to do it by force, all the things that they needed that was already implemented to give you the soft issue where they would instruct you these things in school was already in place. It was already in place. So we have to remove these things, and we need to uproot a lot of these rooted things, these rooted fallacies in our mind, these rooted propagandas. We need to pull them off the billboards of our mind, burn down the plantations in our mind, and rebuild with some good shit. But you have to start and see what the other people did. Where did those come before us, or how did they help? How did they, what did they use to help them persevere through certain instances? And the thought of freedom for sure is one for Toussaint. The thought of freedom. Yeah, he wanted freedom for his people, but Toussaint was too nice. Even within his hard exterior, his firm exterior, that that the book talks about and other books have talked about him, he still was too nice to the enemy. He wanted to give too much love, and I think that was partly rooted in his in the slavery that he was in. He wanted to give too much love to them people, man. He showed too much love. When Mosaic, you know, how they say sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine is what he should have did. He should have kicked everybody out and swept around his own front door, facilitated regrowth and rebirth for the people who was there, whether it have been the mulattoes and the blacks, the free blacks. And if the mulattoes wanted to leave and follow after they people, then he should have let them go. He should let them go. He should let them go. And yes, it may have been some hard times and for a while, but sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes that's what it takes for you to get on your feet. Or that's what it takes for you to make the leap. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? You got to cut shit off sometimes for you to have growth, or for you to have exponential growth, or for you to have you can't retrace your steps and try to do it all over again the same way you did it, just in a different form. Sometimes you gotta erase that shit and start over completely different. And rebuilding Haiti with just the slaves or the free slaves at that time, man, still could have been done. Especially looking back now on it, like they said, if he would have spoke more openly, like some of the Russians did during their revolution, then it probably would have been a whole different revolution. A whole different revolution. Haiti would be a whole different place. They needed Haiti. They needed Haiti for what Haiti had: the production of sugar, coffee, uh, um, um, uh, um, fucking some other thing, indigo, and some other things that Haiti was producing. They needed Haiti for that. But they could have outsourced that stuff to whoever they wanted to help bring in funds, to Haiti. Even though not all money is good money, but certain things would have had to been done for a period of time, in order for them to get over that hump, so to speak. But communication would have been key. More communication would have been key for Toussaint. But like they say in the book, it's easy to say these things when you can look back on it after these things have happened. When Toussaint was in the midst of it, all he knew is what he knew. All he knew is what he knew, and he did. He had everything he needed to succeed, and he succeeded. He succeeded, whether we like how uh, it turned out, or whether we like his motives, whether we like his approach. He succeeded. So he succeeded in birthing of a new nation, or bringing back the old one, which was Haiti. Haiti was the name it originally was called, and when Toussaint and them came and pictured in the revolutions, they were able to bring the name back to Haiti, bring it back to Haiti, which the copper Indians that were there, or the copper inhabitants, called it first. Man, Haiti, Haiti. There's a lot we can learn about these revolutions, man. These revolutions are not going to be, no revolution is really going to be without bloodshed. No revolution is going to be without destruction, whether it be physical destruction or mental destruction. No revolution is going to be without it. So what are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to stand and fight to the death for the liberty? Are you ready to succeed? I mean, are you ready to forfeit your liberties and freedoms? Toussaint wasn't. Toussaint was not ready to give it up. Toussaint didn't want to go back to what the status quo was, which was slavery. Toussaint didn't want that. A lot of things can be learned from Toussaint. A lot of things. A lot of things can be learned from Toussaint. Good and bad. Good and bad. Definitely the visage of Toussaint, the way he was presented, or the visual, the visage and visual of Toussaint gave a lot of free blacks a sort of hope. Toussaint was like a Christ-like figure, especially with him wanting to win the battles without bloodshed and priding himself on doing so. Toussaint definitely was a Christ-like figure in San Domingo, or Haiti at the time. Man, I wonder what Toussaint would say about Haiti today, seeing Haiti today. I wonder what he would say. I wonder what he would think. I don't think he'd be happy with it. I don't think he'll be happy with it. And I also think that, people like the Zopound, I think the Zopound or the Zoles, they would be people who would fight with Toussaint, or Dessalines, or Muse, the Maroons. Sometimes the Zoles, how they're portrayed as like a Maroon. I think they would have no problem fighting alongside Toussaint and his brother. His brothers, his his generals. They would have no problem fighting alongside. But maybe we'll keep pushing. We'll keep pushing. We'll keep learning. We'll keep examining. We'll keep trying to unearth the truths and unearth the treasures and dive down and find the treasures that have been tried to be dropped into the bottom of the sea of pages by Mr. C.L.R. James, hidden beneath the waves of the sea of pages. On the X marks the spot with the treasure map of the sea of pages. And I'll keep rowing. I'll keep rowing one session at a time. One session at a time in the Black Jacobins, the Toussaint Louverture, and the San Domingo Revolution by C.L.R. James, man. We'll keep rowing. We'll keep rowing and going. But let's get these jumping jacks, man. Whew. Yeah, there's plenty of times I don't want to do shit, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. It be times I don't want to do shit, but not doing shit, where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? Nowhere good, that's for sure. Nowhere good. It leave us in a stupidity, a stupor, a stump, a stagnation. If we want growth, you must put in the effort. You must put in the effort for the growth that you want. You must put in the effort for the growth that you want. You must fertilize yourself. You must fertilize yourself. So that way, whatever you are trying to plant can take root and build strong roots, grow strong roots, can spread out and thrive. You don't want to plant your shit on the stony ground. You want to plant your shit on some good ground. And they say burning shit down helps. That ground becomes very fertile after you burn the shit down. So let's burn that down in there and cause it to be fertile ground, so we can plant good seeds, and watch them seeds take root. Watch them seeds blossom and come to fruition. And not only be seeds, but bear good fruit. Bear good fruit. You have all you need to succeed. Let's do so. Oh, here we go. Jumping jack time. 100 of them suckers. 100 of them. 100. Let's get it. Oh, Lord knows I don't want to do nothing. Well, you got to give it all you got. Give it all you got. Once again, you want to see improvement? You have to make movement. Improvement needs movement. Improvement needs movement. Man. Let's get it, man. 100 of these bad boys. Whether I want to do them or not. 100 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. My other shorts is falling. I gotta tie them up too. I'm on 50. I tried to get away with just one pair tied. 50. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 100. Well, I wanted to do them on that, and I didn't want to do them. Let's do 50 push-ups now. That's going to be, that'll put me at 200 jumping jacks and 100 push-ups. 200 jumping jacks and 100 push-ups. And if you were doing them with me, which I don't expect you to, but if you were doing them with me, that'll put your ass at 300 things too. 200 jumping jacks and 100 push-ups, which is a great number. That's a good start. A very great start. A great start. Let's get this 50, man. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 10. Almost 10 more, 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ah! In that thing, baby. That's 100. 100 push-ups. 100 push-ups. 200 jumping jacks. Lord knows I didn't want to do them. I didn't want to do none of them. But shit. Once again, you have to succeed. We have all we need to succeed. I succeeded at small. And the push and the discipline, whether you want to do it or not, can help build up to help you succeed at big. You might need the discipline one day. You might need the confidence that, damn, if I could do that, then I can do this. You might need it. You might need it. So push through, persevere. Fight yourself. You have to battle yourself. The battle is in your own mind a lot of times. The battle is in your own mind. The battle is in your body. Battle yourself. Insurrection on yourself. Revolution on yourself, within yourself. Man, you keep pushing. One day you'll be unrecognizable to yourself, a whole different person, which should be the objective. A better person than what you are or what you were yesterday, years ago. You know, you should want to look back and be like, man, who the hell was I then? You know, I was a nobody then. That person I will never want to be again. Man. Well, shit like that takes time. Shit like that takes time. It takes time. Also takes effort. Time and effort. Time and effort, man. So put the effort in. Put the effort in and let the transformation begin. Reform your mind. Reform your thinking. Reform your actions. Reform yourself. And whatever purpose that you're here for, whatever gifts that you have to give can be able to be shown. Let your light shine. Don't hide it under a bushel. No. This little light of mine. I'll keep doing my part, man. I'll keep doing my part in the revolution and reading. Oh, they hate to see copper color people read. They hate to see copper colored people read. They think the world is going to end when we start reading and being better than what we were. So I'll do my part in the revolution. Call me SHALOM. I have become destroyer of worlds. And I'm trying to destroy that world you have in your mind. Just like I'm trying to destroy the world I have in my own mind. You know, I'm just trying to give you the tools you need, the tools you can use. Destroy it, tear it down, burn that shit to the ground, hit a torch. Light it with mine. Yeah, I'm gonna hit a fire. Light it. Light your shit. Burn that shit to the ground. Fuck them. They'll say fuck you, so fuck them. Burn that shit to the ground. Fix yourself. Renew yourself. You might start feeling younger. You might feel better. You might start acting purposefully. You might not be as slothful, as sluggish, as fat. We might need you in the real war to come, in the real battle, the physical one. So while you have time to train yourself with your mental battles before the physical battles begin, take the time you have and take advantage of it. Take the time you have and take advantage of it. Hey, this has been part 21. This has been episode 21 of the Black Jacobins. I appreciate everybody that has stopped by, gave me an ear to listen to, whether it's something I said or what Mr. C.L.R. James has laid before us. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that stopped by. Let's keep pushing, man. Let's keep pushing. One day at a time. One day at a time. One session at a time. One book at a time. One chapter at a time. One page at a time. Line upon line till we seek and find the treasures that can help release the plantations from our mind. Let's do that. And as long as you have breath to breathe, then you have all you need to succeed. So let's succeed. Let's succeed. Only you know how that looks for you. Succeed for you. Succeed. Succeed. It is in you. You have all you need. Succeed. And I'm going to do the same. Succeed. Because I have all I need to succeed. I need to succeed. Don't let nobody else tell you what the succession should look like, though. You know yourself and you know your life. Shit. If you're 300 pounds and you had a goal just to get down to 295, when you get to 295, you succeeded. You succeeded. And keep pushing and make another goal. Succeed again. Succeed again. Succeed some more. Succeed some more. And succeed greater and greater and greater. Before you know it, you'd be fit, trim, and so many other things. You'll be smarter, hardened by the experiences. And hardened is not such a bad thing. You know, we see that Toussaint and his soldiers were hardened through war and the experience of war. They were smartened through the experience, or they were educated through the experience of war. The things they had to go through. Who knew? They didn't know about politics, but they learned. They learned about politics. Even though the politics is not our game. You know, not with the people who wants to be straightforward. Politics, you have to lie too much. It's too much conniving and deceitfulness in politics. But I don't believe that that's the way copper colored people really operate. I don't believe that's the way copper colored people really operate. Or not in our best capacity. We have the capacity to be too kind-hearted. Even though, you know, the brainwashing has put us in a place where we don't show it to each other. But, hey, we still have it. If we can do it, if we can show that that capacity for love and forgiveness to other folks, then we can show that we can have that capacity for love and forgiveness to our own. We can. We can. We just have to find it. We have to find it. And once we find it, hold on to it and grow it, nurture it, feed it, water it, give it sunlight. And watch how big that tree be. Oh, watch how big the tree be. Like a bail band tree. Oh, like a bail band. Anyway, hey, once again, man, shalom, everybody. Welcome, welcome. If it's your first time, welcome. I hope you be back. Hope to see you on the next one. I'll keep growing, keep going, and growing. And let y'all know I'm out here. I'm out here, baby. Handling business. Let's read. Let's keep reading. So I'll be back right after this. I'm gonna shut the live off and I'm gonna set it up again for reading. I mean for rising scripts. Rising scripts right after this, immediately after this. In about, I'll say less than 5 minutes. I'm gonna shut it back on for rising scripts, and we'll pick back up in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 40 through 45. The book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, and we'll read that. And that'll be it for my lives this morning. I'm gonna go put my trash out before the trash man come. And let my chickens out. Yeah. Now I might go lay back down. Shit, before my boys wake up. Lay back down. But anyway, shalom, man. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, man. Hope you get your day started well. I hope you did something. If you didn't do nothing with me, do something on your own. Make a move. Make a move. Make a move. Make a move. Don't abuse your time. Make a move. You don't know how long you got left. Make a move. Shalom. I'm out here. Shalom.